kind of funny. I started my first business in my mom's basement. Let's go. Welcome to Mission Mode with Madalyn Mac. I'm Madalyn Mac and I have a cold, so ignore the cold voice in my voice in this podcast. This is the first ever episode of Mission Mode. And episode 1 is titled, Sometimes What You Think Would Be the Thing Is Not the Thing at All. I'm not sure actually if that's the title or not, but that's what the subject of episode 1 is going to be about. So welcome to the first ever episode of Mission Mode with Madalyn Mac. If you don't know, I am Madalyn Mac, a YouTuber. I make like self-development, fitness content, and personal excellence. I don't know. I make videos and I work out in them and I read books in them and I read the Bible and I do morning routines and I do what I eat in a day, and come watch me. I don't know. I make vlogs. I make a vlog. That's what I do. Okay. I'm a YouTuber and I've been filming my journey. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's flip and do this on podcast format. So here we are. So why did I end up calling this podcast Mission Mode? Well, since I can remember, I have always felt like I was living on a mission, like waking up every single day with a to-do list, going to school. Like I can vividly remember in, how old was I? What is that? Like second grade? When we had nap time, like I would lay on the ground in nap time with my baby blankets, which if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, look right now because this is my baby blanket that I actually slept with on the floor in kindergarten that I still sleep with to this day. Anyways, enough about baby blankets. My point in saying that was I would lay there and I'd daydream about what I'm going to do when I get home and all the things that I get to do when I get home and the little creative stories I'd make up in my head that I would want to someday write, or the crafts that I wanted to create so that I could sell them at my elementary school's craft fair coming up, because I always did the craft fair. I was a little entrepreneur. I was constantly trying to come up with like a new invention or a new book that's going to be revolutionary that I was going to write before I turned 8. So I'd be the youngest author in the world. And I found out that the youngest author in the world was like 7 and already published a book. And I was like, gosh, dang it. But it's fine. Anyways, I was constantly trying to do something besides school. And I think that is one thing with school, that they make your main focus like school, and then you're so exhausted from school that you can't even think about anything else. But that's a topic for another day. Anyways, Madalyn, stay on track. Anyways, I have always walked fast too. I'm looking at if you're on YouTube and you're looking, what am I looking at? I've written out my entire thing that I just wrote out like literally 30 minutes ago, my little outline. But I've always walked fast too. Like since I was little, I've always had a vision, a mission, something I was trying to accomplish, and I've always walked very fast. And every single time someone would pass me, or I would pass them rather, they would feel the wind of me whooshing past them and go, well, she's on a mission. And every flipping time, guys, this has happened, I'm not even kidding, like at least 20 times in my life, someone has said that to me. It doesn't matter, like any age range, anything. They always say, well, she's on a mission. I'm like, you know what? I am on a mission. Are you not? Why aren't you walking fast? Like, guys, we have one flipping life. Let's live it to its fullest. Let's get this mission done. And you may be wondering, like, what mission are you talking about? Well, I will talk about mission things all the more in all these podcasts, but this is not really that topic for this first episode. Anyways, I created this podcast for those who are also on a mission in life and who are constantly moving, constantly looking to improve, and who are constantly wanting to get better with the sole purpose of getting closer to accomplishing their mission. I just read that. I wrote that down because I want to stay on track. And obviously I'm not staying on track, but everything's fine, everybody. Okay. First podcast. Everything's fine. Anyways, before we start, I also want to say I have no idea what I'm doing. And that is how I've lived my entire life. I never have any clue what I'm doing. I wrote 2 books in high school. Did I have any clue when I started writing that first book at 13 years old how to format a book, how to publish a book? Did I understand what KDP Did I understand what Why can I not talk? Did I understand what KDP publishing meant? No. All I knew was I want to write a book and I want it to be in my hands. How can I do that? I was thinking that way at 13 and I figured it out along the way. Had no idea. Oh my gosh, guys, I think I read that book, my Melissa Stops Time book, which is my first ever book that I ever wrote. Very fantasy, about a girl who daydreams about stopping. Well, she doesn't daydream about it. She does it. She stops time and then can like do whatever she wants during the stop time and then like restart it and like carry on with the day. And I wrote it because I would daydream about doing that in school. So I was like, you know what? That'd be a great book idea. Let's flip and write it. So, had no idea what I was doing. I just figured it out along the way. And I have a goal. I have a vision for my future. I am on a mission. Every single day I wake up and I'm like, okay, sorry, I just bumped the mic. I'm new at this. Sorry. I wake up every day with my mission in mind. And I'm like, okay, what can I do today to get a step closer to that? And figure it out along the way, one step at a time. That is how literally anything has ever been done in my entire life. And in the lives of so many other people that I see, they're so successful that I am obsessed with following their content. They all seem to just be figuring it out along the way. And you might look at someone and be like, wow, they're so amazing. They've done all these things. And then you realize like you go back in their past and they started from like nothing. And you're like, well, how do they do that? Well, they did it one step at a time. Let me tell you, folks. That's very cliche, but it really, 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 really do be. One step at a time. I don't know what I'm doing. So you just figure it out along the way. Anyways, one thing that is helping me immensely in my mission mode, that is just the mode that I'm in constantly. There's not an on or off switch. I'm constantly in the mission mode. Something that helps me with that immensely to accomplish my mission is listening to people who have already done the thing that I want to do and learning from them, taking notes from them and applying what they did to my life to get me steps closer to my mission. And this podcast, I will basically be sharing with you what I've learned from the books that I've read, the Bible, and from the people that I look up to the most, like Alex Hormozy, Lila Hormozy, ultimate power couple. Oh my gosh, I want to be just like them with me and my boyfriend Tyson. That's one of my missions. Okay, anyways, Andy Frisella changed every single thing about how I think about life. He's amazing. Please go listen to his go listen to his podcast, Real AF. Amazing. Dave Ramsey, Ed Milet, Myron Golden, Cody Sanchez, Kendra Scott, Sarah Blakely, like all these people. Jesse Itzler, Sarah Blakely's husband. These people have taught me so much in my life, and this podcast is just going to be me sharing what they've taught me and how I'm applying that into my life and my journey along the way on my mission. And hopefully you guys can take little things, little tidbits here and there from what I say, and maybe apply it to your life and to your mission so that you can get steps closer to accomplishing your own mission. So because I'm only 20 and I have barely lived my life, I'm not going to be on this podcast claiming to know it all or claiming to have experienced everything. And no. I literally wrote on my little outline here, no, ... Everything that I've learned and everything that I'm talking about on these podcast episodes and everything that I do in my life, I have seen someone else do. I have read it in the Bible. I have read it in a book. I have heard Andy Frisella tell me that you need discipline instead of motivation. That is where I'm learning. I'm learning this from other people. I'm learning this from my parents, from seeing their example in life and in relationships and helping. Like, I see what they do in their relationship, in their marriage, and I'm applying that to me and my boyfriend. Like every single thing that I do, it's not my original thought. So I mean, I have some original thoughts, okay? But not there. A lot of the things I've learned are from other people. I just want to say that. I don't want anyone to think that like, who is this girl? Like, why is she saying that she knows all this stuff? I don't know anything. Remember, figuring it out along the way. So this podcast is just going to be like a weekly diary entry of what I've been listening to, the insights I've gathered from my role models, books that I'm reading, and how I'm applying what I've learned each and every single week into my life. And hopefully you can learn from it too, and maybe apply some of the things that I'm doing into your life as well. And we can get better together. like a fun little friendship, and we better each other, because that is what a true friend is someone that builds you up and helps you to get better and tells you the truth and tells you the harsh truth sometimes, because that is being kind, and being a friend is telling you the real truth. Anyways, another topic for another day. I just said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. How dare I use a filler word? So, the reason I want to get better, the reason I want to learn more, to absorb as much information as possible from these mentors and apply it into my own life, is because I have a mission to accomplish. Hence the title, Mission Mode. And I have an epic future vision of myself that I wake up every single day and literally daydream about it all the time. And everything, I do that a lot, sorry. Every single thing that I do in my day is an intentional step closer to that vision. Madalyn, talk like a human. I am once again reading off my little paper here because I don't want to get off track. And here I am talking about how I don't want to get off track and getting off track at the same time. It's fine. Okay. So I keep talking a lot about this mission thing that I'm trying to accomplish. I just want to say that you will never accomplish your mission, because if you're anything like me, you will accomplish a goal and then you're at the top of that mountain, okay? You're standing on the top of this mountain. You're like, wow, I just climbed that. That was awful. I just almost starved to death and slipped 25 times and have a broken ankle. You're standing at the top of the mountain, and you're like, wow, it's so cool. You take a deep breath, and then before you even breathe out, you see a mountain that's 3 times taller than the one you just climbed, and you realize, crap, I gotta climb that one too now, don't I? So you have to go back down the valley of the hardship, and you have to climb all the way back up in the next goal. And then you stand on top of that mountain and you realize, well, there's another one, isn't there? And you just keep doing that until you die. So that your mission is not the point. It is the journey. Oh my gosh, it's about the journey, guys. Life's a journey. Enjoy it. No, I'm just kidding. That's so cliche to say. But it's so true, guys. Like, literally. Like, the amount of times that I've thought something was going to make me feel so good after accomplishing, and I accomplish it, and I'm like, I feel no emotion attached to that. All I want to do now is just like go work out and keep living in the journey. You know what I'm saying? So don't attach yourself too much to the goal or the end. Attach yourself to the day-to-day journey. So yeah, I'm going to take a drink of green tea. Un momento. Okay. That helps my throat so much, is green tea. I've been on a tea kick. If you guys watched my Instagram reel, I showed you every single thing I drink in a day. And a lot of people are like, I would literally be peeing every 5 seconds. How do you drink more than I drink in 3 days? And I was like, now I'm aware of how much stuff I drink. It's fine. Anyways, the journey to accomplish your ultimate potential is one that you will never reach, is what I'm trying to say. Which can sound like kind of freaky. Like, it kind of freaks me out. It's like, I will never be my potential. Like, I will never reach it. But actually, this is how I think of my mission. Like, I have this grand future finale vision in my head, and then I have reverse engineered it to make it into daily actionable tasks that I can take every single day, day in, day out. Andy Frisella calls it like his 5 critical tasks or something like that. And you just make it like little bite-sized pieces. Once again, one step at a time, reverse engineer it, figure it out along the way. And the days that you live, like, that's the journey. That's the fun part. That's figuring it out is the fun part. Like, the dog days, is that what it's called? I don't know. Like, when you're the underdog days are so much fun. You look back on them once you've accomplished things and you're like, wow, I kind of wish I was back there. Excuse me. Like, I hear so many very, very successful individuals. They're like, Kendra Scott. This is a great example of this. She said that, like, in the very beginning, she had like a little studio that she had all of her jewelry hanging up on like a pegboard. And it was like right before her business blew up, and she had a friend say, okay, Kendra, this is the night before. you need to be taking pictures of this. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm in it. She was in it. She was packing orders. She had to get this done. She had to do this. She had to do that. She was so focused on what she was doing, she could not realize and just take a breath and realize, okay, this is the night before, and these are the dog days. And I'm going to look back on this time in my life and be like, man, I kind of wish that I was like still sleeping on that mattress in the back of my store. Now I'm not doing that. That's what Andy Frisella did. And I thought that was another good example. But like, where you're at right now is a place that you might, I don't know, I'm just saying, but you might look back on this in 20 years and be like, man, if only I could just libidoo. I keep saying libidoo. Why do I do that? You might look back on this time in your life and say, if only I could just go back there for like 5 seconds and just live a day. Like, I think about that all the time. Like, I kind of feel like I live in Groundhog's Day, the movie, like where, oh gosh, what's his name? The actor, the famous actor man that everyone's going to roast me in the comments for not remembering his name. He lives the same day over and over and over again. And it's very boring. And I live the same day over and over and over again. And it can get very boring and very lonesome. And I just do my work and work out and eat the food that I need to eat in order to grow my legs to get bigger leg muscles and repeat. And it can get very boring and very repetitive. But it is in those mundane, boring, repetitive tasks that build up to the thing. But what was the point of me saying this? Was because in 20 years, I'm going to look back on now, even though I feel so bored right now, even though I'm like, oh my gosh, the hope is that in 20 years, I'll look back and be like, man, if only I could live one more day like that when I was still in my childhood bedroom, living with my parents, and my headquarters was in my mom's basement, because my headquarters of my clothing brand is currently in my mom's basement. And my office is down there, and I film all my videos at home, and yeah, I edit down there. It's kind of funny. I started my first business in my mom's basement. Let's go. Okay, that was a drink of green tea. Anyways, without any further ado, that was kind of the introduction of Mission Mode with Madalyn Mac. Let's get into episode number uno. Why am I using uno? Episode number one's topic that I stated in the beginning, which is sometimes what you think would be the thing is not the thing at all. And I'm about to talk about God because the Bible is literally the greatest book on how to live your life. Regardless of religion, okay? It's not a book of religion. And I love how Myron Golden puts it. So I wrote down this quote on my little piece of paper here. I'm going to read it. So Myron Golden, he's so cool. Look him up. He's awesome. Anyways, he says, the Bible is not a book of religion. The Bible is a book of principles, promises, practices, precepts, patterns, prayers, and prophecies that give me the ability to make predictions about outcomes in the future. So I can know what's going to happen before it happens, and I can position myself in the path of prosperity. And prosperity means flow. So basically what he means there is like, so you can position yourself in the flow state and be ready for it and not unprepared for when the flow is coming of prosperity. So it's just, the Bible is just a great guidebook for life. Like, there's so many times that I will listen to like Andy Frisella, and then I'll read the Bible and I'll be like, oh my gosh, God stole Andy Frisella's idea. That's what he said. Just kidding. Actually, these principles are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of years old and have been around for eternity. And they're just how the way the world works and how business works and how life works and how relationships work and how health and sickness and making money and everything. It literally, every single thing stems from the Bible. It's crazy to think about. Sometimes I get very overwhelmed by it because I cannot understand it, because that is the point. Anyways, so again, what you think would be the thing is not the thing at all. And what do I mean by that? God rarely provides in the way that you will expect. And what you thought would be your breakthrough, what you thought would be, oh my goodness, what you thought would be your breakthrough often isn't. And what looked insignificant ends up being his provision in disguise. So, quick green tea drink. Before I get into a story of where this rang true so loud in my life, like now looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so true. I first want to share a little bit from my Bible reading this morning. I actually read this. Yeah, I read this morning, and I wrote this outline at like 5 p.m. It is currently like 6 right now. Read this at 4:30 a.m. today. And it's funny because I'm going to give a little mini example of what I'm going to talk about here. Is this podcast episode, the first podcast episode I recorded on Friday. It went horribly, you guys. I filmed it 4 different times. And it was not thought out well, completely my fault, and I ended up completely scrapping it because this very afternoon, I was going to edit it, and I realized this is horrible. First of all, my cold voice was like 10,000 times worse, and also like I just had no idea what I was talking about. Like it was so bad. Like it was completely a different topic. Yeah, anyways. Now I'm recording it on Saturday night, but my point is the original idea that I had that I thought was going to be the thing for this podcast episode was not actually the thing. And in fact, this podcast idea was an idea from this morning. And it's actually, sometimes I read the Bible and then like something will come to me from the Bible and I'll text it to my boyfriend and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I read this in the Bible today. Like this is so crazy how this applies exactly to our life right now. So I sent him a little text. And I did not think that I was going to use it for a podcast episode at all. Did not think that I thought I had filmed my podcast. Like I thought it was done. I thought it was going to be the thing. Like I was like a little bit nervous about it, but I was like, you know what? It'll be fine for the first episode. But turns out it's actually the episode for today. For the first episode is this text that I sent my boyfriend that I was a little tiny thought in my head that popped into my brain that was not the original thought, that was insignificant to me, and now I realize it is very significant and must be made for the first episode of this podcast. So without me crashing and burning for my first attempt on Friday, I would not have read chapter 16 of Exodus to get the idea for this much better podcast episode, which is kind of cool to think about. So the text that I sent my boyfriend, I wrote it down a little post-it note here. I write my text really weird, so please ignore my texting pattern. But I said, God provided manna for them. Quote, what is it? End quote, ness. They had no clue what it was and had never seen it before. When God's provision comes, we often do not recognize it. God met their needs in a way Israel didn't expect. He will do the same for you. Your needs will be met in ways you don't understand and do not expect. I will explain this whole story and all these things for those who do not know and have no idea what manna is. So, let's talk about that and how it applies to my career story. Like literally how I am where I am and how I do what I do every single day. Like that. This Exodus chapter 16 like completely sums up, like it's crazy. Anyways, I'll keep talking. And like how I'm at where I'm at right now in my mission is because of this. And this literally has changed the entire trajectory of my life, and it's insane to think about. And here it is explained to me in the Bible in Exodus that I read this morning. So, Moses and manna, chapter 16 of Exodus. I have my Bible right here. I'm going to open it up. Let's see. Here we go. Very nice. Okay. Basically, I'm reading off my outline and reading from the Bible. So if I sound really wishy-washy, I apologize. But anyways. So, Moses and the Israelites. They were enslaved in Egypt for 400 years. It sucked in Egypt. God got them out of Egypt, led by Moses. And Moses parted the Red Sea so they could cross over, and then God closed the Red Sea in on the Egyptians, and they all died dead. And they're like, woohoo, let's flip and go. We got out of Egypt, and they're dead. that was, yeah, basically they sang a song of praise to God in chapter 15. So after that, they are continuing on their journey to get to the promised land. And I really apologize for my voice right now. Hold on, I'm getting another sip of green tea. So, chapter 16, they are moving out of the comfort zone of Elim, which is a place that they kind of rested at that has like 70 palm trees and beautiful freshwater springs that they can drink all the water in the world and it's clean and all the things, comfortable. There were no miracles that happened in the comfort zone, okay? And nothing happened. God didn't do any crazy things. They were sitting there just like, oh, this is so fun. No. Comfort. Nothing happened. They did not learn anything. They did not grow. That's another point for another day. Anyways, they're moving out of Elim, the place of comfort, and they're moving into the wilderness of sin, which I looked it up. It does not have anything to do with like sinning, which means to miss the point. But a whole lot of sin happens in the wilderness of sin, which is kind of funny. Anyways, the Israelites start yapping behind Moses and Aaron's back. Like, guys, hold up. We gonna die, okay? We don't got no food. We don't got no more food, okay? We are out here in the wilderness of sin. Our food storages are running out. What the heck are we going to do, guys? We're all going to starve to death. They literally just took us out of Egypt that had all this amazing, wonderful meat and fruit and bread and brought us here in the wilderness to die. Like, what the heck are you doing, Moses? Like, why did you do this? Like, they literally thought that Moses and Aaron were like evil, like had evil intentions. Like, they just brought 600,000 people into the wilderness of sin just to die. Like, they were being little yappy buggers is what they were doing. And, God heard them complaining and tells Moses that he's going to make bread rain down from heaven. Interesting. So after a bit, Moses tells the people, hey, yo, God told me he's going to rain bread and give us meat in the evening. So like bread for the morning and meat in the evening. And Moses, this is a point I will make, Moses had no idea what the bread was going to be like. He had no idea what meat he was going to provide. No clue, not at all. So chapter 16, I'm still in chapter 16, by the way. Verse 13. Let me look at my actual Bible, not my outline here. This is the wrong chapter, isn't it? Okay. So it came to pass that at the even, which is at the evening, the quails came up. So the meat was quails, which is considered a delicacy in Egypt. So that was really nice of God to give them some quails for all their complaining. And they ate those. And then in the morning, when the morning dew evaporated, there was this weird like white substance all over the ground of like the camp in the wilderness that the Israelites were staying at. And the children of Israel went out and the dew was gone in the field, and they all see this weird small round thing everywhere. This weird stuff everywhere. Like they're all looking at it. And the Bible, this is hilarious. I'm just going to read what it says because I thought this was so funny. They say, or it says, and when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it is manna. Wait, did I say that right? Yes. Wait. Am I reading the right part of this? Hold on. Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. Yes, I am. I'm reading the right part. I apologize again. Okay, anyways. And when, this is verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it is manna, for they wist not know what it was. So I heard that and I was like, they wist not know what it was. So what does manna mean if they didn't know what it meant? I looked up what does manna mean on my little KJV. I think it's an app that Myron Golden suggested that I get. SKJV app. Basically, it's a King's Concordance and has all the definitions of words and stuff. So I do little word studies in my Bible every single morning. So I looked up what does manna mean? Well, So sorry, I had to sniff. I was like, what does manna mean? It literally means, it roughly translates to whatness. Whatness, or what is that? That is what manna means. I've read this multiple times. I've never known what manna meant. I thought it was just called manna, but it literally means whatness, or what is this? So there are so many more topics in this chapter that I could dive into, but for the reason of this podcast episode, I'm just going to talk about the manna and the whatness and the what is this. And I realized something this morning when I was reading this was what I wrote on that little post-it note, which was, God provided manna for them. What is itness? And they had no clue what it was, and they'd never seen it before. When God's provision comes, we often do not recognize what it is, or it's a brand new concept to us, and we're like, what is that? What do you mean? But God met their needs in a way that Israel did not expect, is the main thing. They just didn't expect it. They're like, what is this weird stuff? We're going to call this what is itness. And he will do the same for you and for your needs. And your needs will be met in ways that you do not expect, and in ways that you do not understand, and in ways that you could have never thought or never imagined before, because it all plays into his perfect plan. And we kind of have no understanding of his perfect plan. So when these unexpected things come our way, it is easy to resist them. So let's say you have a plan for something in your life. You have this mission that you're on, and you're doing it, and you think that you're 1,000,000% sure about it. Like, this is what it's going to be. This is what we're going to do. We're going all in on this thing. And then along the way, something's like not really working, and you realize, actually, it might be this other thing. But like, sometimes you don't even realize that. There's just like a little sparkle in the corner of the room, and you're like, that's kind of working over there, but I'm in this other thing. This is a thing that's going to work. This other thing that I'm working on, it's going to be the thing. But you hear that faint little like echo in the background, and you're like, what is that? So before you freak out that the thing that you've put all your hard work into and all of your time and attention to, like, freak out that like, oh my gosh, that might not be the thing. If you just embrace what the little shining object in the corner is, that might actually be your true mission. And the only way that you could have seen that little shiny object in the corner is if you thought that the thing that you thought was the thing was the thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to explain this a little bit better with a story from my life here in a second. But the Israelites wanted to cling onto the wonderful Egyptian fruits and meats and breads and all the things, and did not realize that the boring, mundane, God-given food, the thing that we kind of push to the side, is actually what is going to sustain us in the long run. So when I was thinking of this manna story this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, this literally directly applies to my career at the moment. Like, what I'm literally doing every single day with my life, what you guys know me for, is this story has a little bit to do with it. And this, on my outline, it says, insert story about how YouTube started versus how it's going. So we're going to talk about a little YouTube backstory of Madalyn Mac. So when I was 7, I was obsessed with crafting, polymer clay, painting, drawing, all the things. Still am. Still love that. But I was obsessed because I didn't spend all of my time editing. I literally spent all my other free time crafting. Obsessed with it. And I watched these little polymer clay craft videos, these tutorial videos, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a YouTube channel, and I'm going to make art videos, and I'm going to make little polymer clay things. The first YouTube video that I ever made was a tutorial on how to make Gary the snail out of polymer clay. It is still on YouTube. You can search it and watch my little baby hens make a little baby Gary the snail. And I thought that was going to be the thing. Okay, I thought I was going to be an art channel. I was going to be famous for my art channel, and it was going to be epic. And like, that was what I was going to do. Turns out I did not do that, and I had a really hard time like posting consistently because filming art videos are so hard and they took so much editing, and I didn't know how to edit. I had no idea how to post, really. I had no idea how to make thumbnails or titles or anything. I knew nothing. You look at my YouTube channel now and then look at that polymer clay video. It's the most incredible growth. It's such a good visual of like, you just have to start and never stop. And like, I'm just getting started right now. Like, I am just getting started in my journey right now with YouTube and all the things. And even in the fact that I'm just getting started, looking back at myself 13 years ago. Oh my gosh, it is insane, the difference. Anyways, I thought it was going to be art. It was not art. I'm going to take another drink of green tea really quick. Hold on. So fast forward a few years. I hadn't started writing my book yet, but I was in my 8th grade. It was end of 7th grade, this summer before going into 8th grade. I was watching all these girls on YouTube make their little vlogs, and I was like, oh man, I want to show my face on YouTube, because my art channel, I couldn't show my face because my family was scared that I'd get like stalked or something if I put my face on YouTube, and I want to start a YouTube channel. And I knew my mom was not going to let me. So I asked my dad, and my dad loves me so much. He's the best thing in the world. And he was like, of course, do it. Go for it. I'm excited. Start a YouTube channel. You can put your face in it. So I was like, yay. But I didn't tell mom. My mom is all for my YouTube channel now. Like, that's, I made her sound so bad there. I didn't mean that. So my first ever YouTube video on this channel is me cleaning out my closet. And if you want to see the difference in like how I present myself on camera and how I edit and all the things. Oh my goodness. My laptop just dinged. I'm so sorry about that. Anyways, if you want to see the difference of that, go watch the first video on this channel. It's insane. Not this channel, my Madalyn Mac YouTube channel. Another great difference. But I started this channel, my Madalyn Mac main channel. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to make funny videos that would go viral, that people would just laugh at. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be this weird, goofy girl on the internet that people watch and like, oh my gosh, Madalyn Mac, she's so funny. I wanted to be a comedian. That's what I started this channel about. Like, I was like, I'm going to be so funny. People are going to think I'm flippin' hilarious. I'm going to put on my mom's homecoming dress from 1994 and sit on a miniature doll tea set table in my yard and title this video having a tea party alone in the woods. And I did that. I had my mom's like purple iridescent dress on from 1994, sitting on a teeny tiny tea set table meant for dolls with a little teacup, and sat there and was like, welcome to my tea party in the woods. That was my video. I was a goofy goofball. My 5th video that I ever posted went it went viral. It has like 1 million. It still has the most views on my YouTube channel right now, which is actually hilarious. It has like 1,100,000. I don't even know how many views it has, but it's, do TikTok tattoos really work? And I test, do TikTok tattoos work? And at the end, I made a lot of people very mad, and basically I still get text to this day. And as a matter of fact, Colton, if you're listening to this, he's probably not, but he texted me Friday and said, oh my gosh, I just watched your TikTok tattoos video with Kira, and you just wasted our time. We're so mad. If you guys want to waste your time, go watch that video. But like, I did like goofy stuff. I was gonna be a comedian. I tried so hard, and I remember like being so frustrated after that video went viral that I couldn't get any other viral videos. Like, none of my videos were working. No one was watching my stuff. And this comedy thing was just not working, you know? And take another drink real quick. Hold on. So, what the heck does Madalyn do? I just kept posting. And I'm not really exactly sure when it happened, but I realized that I made like a morning routine video, and it did so much better than all of my other videos. And I was like, So then I made more school morning routines, and more and more and more and more and more, because the people wanted them. And somewhere along the way of wanting to be a comedian on YouTube and posting these little morning routines, I've now transformed into this self-development, personal improvement, fitness girl. And the funny thing is, like, I've always been like this, but I never thought that it would be the thing that I make YouTube videos about. Like, I was dead set on being a comedian, you guys. I was going to be a goofy goofball goober. That was going to be my title. Madalyn Mac, the goofy goofball goober, was going to be what I was going to be. Yeah, that's changed a little bit. That has changed a little bit, lot. And I'm going to go back to my little outline here. Let's see what I wrote. So, God gave me manna, the what is this, the whatness, in the form of fitness content and discipline stuff and daily routine self-improvement content, not the funny comedic viral content that I thought I was going to be. I thought that was going to be it. It was not it. It was this weird thing in the corner that was working with my high school morning routines. People love to see the self-development, love to see me working out, love to see what are you eating? How do you train? How are you getting bigger muscles? That's what people wanted to watch. They didn't want to watch me being a goofball goober, supplying no value to the world besides maybe making like 5 people laugh. Like that I was not providing enough value. And I remember one time my brother Mason, who's my personal trainer now, he was like, he wasn't talking to me, but he was talking to my mom. And then my mom told me, and I remember my feelings were so hurt. I was like, how could you, Mason? You have no idea what I'm doing. But anyways, he knew exactly what he meant. He was like, Madalyn is not basically supplying any value in her videos. Like, she has no plot. There's just her being dumb. And he was so right, because like there was no point to my videos. Like, they were not even, I mean, they're kind of entertaining, but like only for like 3 minutes. And then if I had videos longer than that, it was just like, what is the point of this again? So I remember like a few weeks ago, I remember that he said that. And then I look now, and like my main objective with what I make, any piece of content that I put out, is like, how can I help people with this? How can I supply value with this? How can I improve people with this? How can I share what I'm doing to maybe help someone else? How can I put their needs before mine? Like that's what I do now. And in the beginning, I was like, I don't need to do that. I'm a goofy goofball. Everyone's going to love this goofy goofball. Goofy goober. Yeah, that's what they're going to like. And actually, no. So God he provided for my needs in a very unexpected way. I would have never thought that I would have fallen into the fitness guru or girl, gym girl category. Would have never have guessed. That's just a part of my life. I just was a gym girl, but I didn't think I'd be making videos about it. Yeah. So the main thing I knew I needed was YouTube. Just like the Israelites knew they needed food. But they didn't know what food it would be. Just like I didn't know what content I would make. I thought I knew, but I actually didn't. But along the way, God has totally blown my mind and made me realize something totally unexpected. The side thing, the way I lived my life that I thought no one really cared about, was actually the thing that people cared about the most. Meaning like my routine, I guess. And me wanting to be a YouTuber comedian, and wait, I wrote this weird. Me and YouTube wanting to be a comedian, and somehow, basically, I wanted to be a comedian, and somehow I've turned into a fitness person. That was the unexpected thing. That was a little shiny object in the corner that was glimmering, was these morning routines, and I was trying so hard to make this a funny channel, and that was not the thing. It was actually, oh, people like to see me lift weights? Like, what are you talking about? Like, how? Like, why is that? How is it entertaining? I didn't understand that. And I just did more of what worked, and lo and behold, that is getting me closer to accomplishing my mission. And this manna, this whatness that God's given me in my life, I'm like, I don't really know what this is, but we're going to pursue it. We're going to go in blindly. We're going to go in without having any clue what I'm doing. We're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to figure it out along the way. Just like the Israelites had to figure out along the way, like they had to pick this stuff up off the ground, like sweep it up, put it into these baskets, gather it every single morning, grind it up, cook it, and eat it. And then they had to find out along the way, oh, if we leave it until the morning, it's going to get bad and worms are going to get in it. And if we try to gather it on the Sabbath day, there's not going to be any out there. And then the Lord's going to be like, what? Guys, I literally flippin' told you I'm not going to have any out there on flippin' Sabbath. I made it so that you guys could flipping get enough the day before the Sabbath day. Okay, listen to me. The amount of times that God's like, guys, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, and you're not flipping listening. I would be so mad if I was God. Anyways, that was a little tangent, but the thing that I thought was going to be the thing was not the thing. And the thing that is actually the thing is getting me closer to accomplishing my mission, which is the only thing that matters. So, yeah. Another drink, shall we? How long have I been recording? Let's see here. 46 minutes. Let's go. Okay, so I also have some notes from Kendra Scott from her podcast that she did with Cody Sanchez. This is another thing that I've been applying into my life and like really made me think of this even more, was she's talking about when she first started Kendra Scott, like the jewelry brand. She, before that, had started a hat box store. And in the hat box store, which failed miserably, she had a little thing next to the cash register of jewelry that would sell out every day. That was her little shiny thing that eventually became Kendra Scott, and now she's a billionaire. So that's another little example of her manna, that she didn't really know what it was, but somehow it worked out and God provided for her. So I burped, excuse me. Yeah, that was another cool example. Like when I heard her say that, I was like, oh my gosh, there you go again. So now I have come to the ending of my podcast outline. So I'm going to read it. So if you're out there working hard and you feel like the thing that you thought was working isn't working anymore, and the weird, unexpected, what is this thing has popped up and is giving you some attention, maybe switch on over to that. If the thing that is working is not what you thought was going to work, let it work some more. Put all of your time and all of your attention into that and just see where it's going to go. Because this is exactly what I did, and this is where I am now. Again, I'm just getting started, but I've come a long way from making little goofy videos sitting in the field of my backyard. And also, like, my first ever workout video, I posted it as like a reel. I was like, how it started versus how it's going. It's crazy. If you guys have seen that, you know what I'm talking about. It's just, oh my goodness. I was such a goofy goofball. I'm not saying that I'm not anymore. I definitely am I'm a very odd person. I have no friends except Lexi. Hi Lexi, if you're listening to this, you're cool. It's okay not to have friends and to kind of be lonely and be boring, everybody. I go to bed at 8 o'clock. Speaking of 8 o'clock, it's 6:14. I'm feeling a little sleepy. I need to go eat my dinner and go to bed. But anyways, I hope this podcast gave you a little bit of encouragement if your mission that you're on might be like slightly changing, if you feel like what you originally thought was going to be the thing is not the thing anymore that's happening, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is not how I thought I was going to go. Like, why is it going this way? Embrace it. Just let it happen. Just put full force, all of your effort into that thing. And the only way that you could have seen that was by thinking that the other thing was a thing, even though it wasn't the thing. And there's so many more examples I could give for this in my own life. And I mean, if everything just seems to not be going to plan, like, no one watched my comedy videos, and the first round of this podcast went haywire. Guys, listen to me. I am so glad that you're not listening to that podcast right now, because this one is so much better. Oh my gosh, gosh, the first podcast I filmed was terrible. Anyways, God's got a different plan that works better, and his grand, glorious, epic plan. And he wants you to be dependent on him. Your only hope and help is from him. So just let him provide the manna. Let him provide the unexpected thing. Embrace it. Just do it. Do what he says. If that weird thing on the side is like calling your name and you're like, no, that's not the thing that I was going to originally do. Yeah, I might need to listen to that thing, because that actually might be a lot better for you in your future. You might need to listen to the thing that you don't really want. I didn't want to be a fitness influencer. That is the thing, guys. Like, I would look at all these gym girls and I'd be like, yeah, they're cool, but like, that's not what I want to do. I'm a gym girl. What happened, guys? But like, I so badly wanted to be a comedian. This sounds so funny to say. I so badly wanted to be a funny guy, and I'm not. Okay, I'm a gym girl, and I could have become this so much sooner and so much faster if I would have listened to that, and I didn't. So I don't want you to make the same mistake. If there's something that is working better for you and you're still attached to the old thing, Cody Sanchez calls it killing your zombies. Kill him, man. Kill that zombie. Move on to the next thing. And I mean, that is not to say like every single time something gets hard, you think that you have to change. No. Okay. Like, I was trying to be a comedian for like 3 years of my YouTube career, and it slowly started to gain momentum in the morning routines and stuff. But like, I mean, it's always just been like YouTube. So yeah, I need to get on with the show, don't I? Yeah. Making you wait for his unexpected manna might just be the thing that finally gets the ball rolling in your life. Embrace the unexpected, and because that might be the thing that will help you get closer to accomplishing your mission. All right, so that was the first episode of Mission Mode with Madalyn Mac. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave in the comments below anything that you'd like me to talk about in the next episodes. And if you're on YouTube, that is. And yeah, I'll see you Monday at 6 a.m. Thank you guys so much. If you made it to the end of this podcast, thank you. Thank you. This is the first episode. All the things. So yeah, I'm very excited for this little podcast journey that you're with me on now. So let's get better together and accomplish our flippin' mission. And if anyone says to you, well, she's on a mission, turn around and say, yeah, I am on a mission. Are you not? Yell it at them in their face and make them cry. Make sure that they get on their own mission and stop yelling at you about walking fast, because it's fine to walk fast, okay? Anyways, I need to get on with, I need to end the podcast, don't I? Okay. All right. That's the podcast. Thank you for watching the first episode of Mission Mode with Madalyn Mac. Okay, peace out. Bye.